there, I'm Beverly Sartain, and this is the Holistic Coach Legacy Podcast, where you get support in being an impactful and confident coach. In today's episode, I am going to be answering a question from the She Recovers coaches. If you're interested in being a She Recovers coach, please check the show notes where I provide you more information on how you can do so. So the coaching question that I received was, how do you coach ambivalence? And in today's episode, I'm going to talk through the ICF core competency of evoking awareness and how I would evoke awareness around ambivalence. And I'm also going to talk about coachability, because if someone is consistently ambivalent for a long period of time, it might be an issue of coachability. And so I talk through that in today's episode as well. I hope that you find this useful, and I appreciate you being here so much. Thank you. Today, we're going to talk about how to coach ambivalence. So I want to start off by saying that ambivalence is going to be really similar to coaching a client who says, I don't know a lot, is going to be similar to coaching a client that says they're stuck or they're overwhelmed a lot. So I want you to start to train your ear to listen to the words that your client uses and notice what those running or common themes are for your client, so that you can remain neutral as the coach and not get too hung up on whatever the client is experiencing. So I'm going to give you two different perspectives here on what I would do if my client was being ambivalent. The first thing that I want to share with you is really around the core competency of evoking awareness. So you can go to the show notes and see the different ways that the ICF encourages you to evoke awareness in a coaching conversation, but I want to share the common strategies I use when somebody is presenting with ambivalence or a particular pattern. So I like to evoke awareness first by bringing an energy of curiosity. That's an energy that I bring to all of my coaching sessions. And I like to stay in the energy of curiosity because it is a very open energy. If you can feel into curiosity right now, it keeps us in a place of openness, of wonder, of reflection. And when we can be in this place of curiosity, we can remain open to the process. And this is really important because when we start to tap into old stories, beliefs, if someone is experiencing judgment, they will close up, they will retract, and it can be really hard to coach when that happens. And so I, as the coach, always make sure I remain in this energy of curiosity and that I'm bringing that type of energy to the partnership so that we can even look at the ambivalence that might be there for the person. The second thing is that I evoke awareness through direct communication. So this is a skill that I teach in the Holistic Coach Certification Program. But it's a wonderful skill because it really helps, again, build partnership, and it helps us go directly to the pattern that may be there around the ambivalence. So if I'm hearing somebody talk about ambivalence a lot, or if I'm hearing the ambivalence, I use direct communication and bring it forward and do so in a particular way that I then check in with the client and see what insights or awareness they have from the direct communication that I've shared with them. So that is a really great approach, because that way you are addressing what you are hearing or experiencing, and you are addressing it again in service to the partnership and your client potentially having some sort of awareness or insight about the ambivalence. And then that can break up the ambivalence through the insight and awareness. Of course, I really love to use powerful questions. So supporting the person around what wants to be acknowledged around the ambivalence, what's the learning available around the ambivalence, what are they getting from being ambivalent, what's on the other side of the ambivalence that they truly want to be experiencing. You know, these types of questions, again, there's a curiosity to them. We're directly going to the issue by asking powerful questions around the roadblock. And so that can be really, really supportive to somebody of just being with them around the roadblock or the barrier in a way that helps break through versus shut down. And that's what's really important here about the energy you're bringing to it. And the other thing I would say is being mindful of trust and safety, which is another one of the International Coaching Federation's core competencies. But I would bring it forward here around evoking awareness, because the truth is that maybe the client doesn't have trust and safety within themselves to be clear about what they want or what their answers are or what's next for them. Or maybe they're not yet experiencing trust and safety within the coaching partnership. And so again, using curiosity, direct communication, powerful questions, any ways that you want to evoke the awareness would be really good to use here in service to building more trust and safety within the partnership and allowing this person to have some trust and safety around exploring their own ambivalence. With that being said, another thing that I would consider is that if someone is consistently ambivalent, that coaching might not be the right service for them. And so I always talk about coachability, and I would be wondering if the person is coachable. There might be a different modality that would be a better fit for them. And if someone's consistently ambivalent, I support them in evoking awareness, and there's not any shifts that happen because of it, then I would definitely be just curious about coachability here. So I would say that, you know, making sure that you're assessing for coachability is really important. And when it comes to coaching, we need for the person to be able to take responsibility for themselves. We need for them to be able to acknowledge insights and awareness and take action on those insights and awareness, because that's what makes coaching coaching. We need for them to be able to co-create an agreement for every call that we're on, because that, again, is what makes coaching coaching. So those are some things to consider around coachability. And I specifically teach people to look for coachability and ask questions about coachability in the discovery call, so that you're making sure that your person is ready to coach and that coaching makes sense for them, because we certainly don't want to encourage people to coach when maybe counseling, therapy, some other modality is going to be a better fit for them and where they are in their process. So this is all going to depend on what your niche is, the people that you're serving, where they're at in their journey as it pertains to their recovery, their healing, their growth, what they're really looking to do, like what is it they want to be creating. So all those things really need to be assessed in the discovery call. And that's why we ask very specific questions in the discovery call, so that we're making sure that we are signing up people to coach that are actually coachable. So some things to consider here are perhaps assessing for the stages of change in a discovery call. So if you happen to be working in the recovery field, which a lot of my people tend to do, or mental health, or any of these areas, trauma, where there's work that oftentimes people need to do on a deeper level before coaching makes sense for them. And so you could certainly use a tool like the stages of change to ask some questions in a discovery call to actually see where somebody's at. And if somebody's really at the beginning of their process, making sure that you have particular questions that you ask that are in service to helping your person clarify what modality is really going to be best for them. Then I would just make sure that you're really well versed in describing what coaching is and what coaching is not, so that people have an understanding of somewhat what the expectations are of coaching. Again, that you're responsible for your own results, that you have your own insights and awareness, and we're really going to be seeing you as whole and complete and resourceful. And supporting you in accessing your own inner resources, and supporting you in accessing outer resources that you might need or that you might already have. And that it's all about taking action on whatever discoveries that you have during the coaching conversation, so that you're moving forward. Of course, coaching is, forward thinking and forward moving and solution oriented. And so you really need to be at a place in your process where you can have insights and take action on them. Right. And so if you're at a place in your process where you still really have to process a lot of thoughts and feelings, and that's where you tend to get stuck and overwhelmed, and there's just a lot of inner work and a lot of making peace with your past that still needs to happen, then that's when counseling and therapy may be a better option for somebody. So that's what I love about coaching, is it's really very lucrative for a certain part of the process. And it's our job as the coach to make sure in the discovery call that we are assessing and asking questions in support of this coachability factor, and making sure that our person gets to the right resources. And then the other thing during the discovery call is you could certainly talk through what a session looks like for coaching. Again, so that the person understands, that they come to the session, they share what they want to work on. We create an agreement around that, and even a measure of success for that specific coaching conversation. And then the whole coaching conversation is about supporting them and getting to that agreement and having discoveries along the way. And then really we end with actions, planning, accountability to help facilitate their growth in that coaching conversation and towards their overarching goal. So those are some considerations around how to coach ambivalence. I would really start with trying to evoke awareness around the ambivalence, bringing that curiosity to it, making sure you're using direct communication, which really just means that you're bringing it forward. If you're hearing ambivalence and it's not really being discussed in the coaching conversation, but you're hearing it as a running theme, that you would bring that forward in service to evoking awareness, and that there would be some insights that the person could then take action on. and bring in those powerful questions, around what does ambivalence mean to you? Those types of questions where we're getting curious with them about what this experience is like for them, what this pattern is like for them, what this belief system is like for them, and how they might do this perspective differently and what results they might get from it by shifting their perspective. So just, bringing that curiosity, direct communication, powerful questions in service to evoking awareness, but also in service to creating trust and safety, which may be an issue of why just the person is in this place of not being sure within themselves or within the coaching container, or just within their life, so evoking awareness around that could be really useful for them. And then if you've really done a lot of work around evoking awareness and there still isn't shift happening for them, it just might be that coaching is not the right modality. And I would encourage you to look at coachability and how you might be able to make sure that you're bringing people on that are actually coachable. And you can always do that by looking at your discovery call, perhaps using an exercise like the stages of change to see where somebody's actually at around whatever it is that they're wanting to create, making sure you're clearly communicating what coaching is and isn't, and talking people through the process of coaching or what a session looks like so that, again, we can see if it's in alignment with what they're trying to create and that this is the thing that's going to help them create it. So I hope this was helpful for you. If this was something that was supportive to you, I would greatly appreciate you, letting me know some way, somehow, either through a positive comment in the reviews, reaching out to me, even letting me know any other questions you might have around coaching, because I'm happy to use the podcast as a way to serve you and support you with your coaching. Thank you for being here. There's a couple takeaways here today. It's evoking awareness around ambivalence, and it would be to make sure you are assessing for coachability in your discovery calls. If you would like to learn more about doing these two particular skills, then please reach out, because this is exactly what I teach in the Holistic Coach Certification Program. I love sharing with you the ICF core competencies and how to apply them to your coaching practice and to actually working with coaching clients. And if you enjoyed this quick tip, please let me know. I'm happy to answer more of these types of questions. You can, email me at info@holisticcoachtraininginstitute.com. I will put that in the show notes for you. And please rate and review if this was a positive experience for you, because it helps other people see the podcast and it helps other people get connected with coaching. And I truly believe that coaching is a powerful way to serve the world. It helps people access their own inner guidance, their own inner resources, the strengths that they already have, and it also helps them take action on what they might need. And so I just absolutely love teaching coaching, training other people on coaching, receiving coaching, and sharing coaching with you. Thank you for being with me.